Hi there and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lisa. Welcome if you are new. Today we are getting super arty. We are going to be making journal cards. I've got loads and loads to show you. They are so much fun to make. And the exciting thing is we are collaborating with Kerrymay Makes. I will link up Kerry's channel below. The main reason I have asked to collaborate with Kerry today, she's a lovely friend, very creative, very arty. It was her that inspired me to make the journal cards. Back at Mrs Brimbles' last get-together, Kerry did a workshop making these journal cards and they were so easy, and I just thought, why haven't I made them before? I always do like little miniature pieces of art on tags, but I never thought to actually make my own journal cards. So I approached Kerry because we had something really fun in this month's kit. We've got little pots of Brusho with watercolour paper, and I thought it would be really fun to collaborate with Kerry for us both to use the kit and both to show you how we are creating our own journal cards. So once you've watched this video, please link up to Kerry's channel below. The link is down there in the description box and you can go and see what Kerry has made. I have released sneaks on Instagram and on Facebook. Both of those links are below if you don't follow me, and they look so good. I cannot wait to see what Kerry has made. But these are mine, and now I'm going to show you how easy they are made. I hope you enjoy this video today. Please do subscribe if you don't already. I love making things like this. So before I start making, I'm going to show you this that I created before. This was a Poundland Hacks video doing some Disney DIYs, and I made these little journal cards to hang on this line. I will link up this video below in case you missed it. I was really pleased with what I made. So I'm going to show you first how I created these little cards. I did get asked to do a more in-depth video about these, so that's exactly what I'm going to show you now. So let's start. This is the easy one. This isn't even watercolor paper, it's just normal thin card, and they're like 4x3 inches, and I'm going to do what I did before just to show you. And I always like to do more of one thing when I'm doing this kind of thing, because if you're doing one, you may as well do a few. So I'm going to mix some hot pink with some red, and I'm just literally, as you can see, no technique at all, just brushing the paint over. And that's that one. Let's leave that one to dry, and I'm going to do the same on all four. Like I said, really easy, no watercolor paper, no technique. I'm just brushing on the paint, and the paint does it all the hard work for you, to be honest. And then afterwards you can just add a quote. That's that one. It's almost embarrassing sometimes when somebody asks you to show you the technique and it's as easy as that, because there is no talent involved in that whatsoever. A child can do that. It's that easy. Okay, so I'm going to leave these to dry, and I'm going to go on to my next type of journal cards, and I will come back to these. So these are the cards that I made last time for Kerry's class. You can just see them a bit better here, a bit closer up. And this is the kind of thing we're going to be doing today. So again, I've got several pieces of the watercolour paper. This is what comes in the Lollipop DIY kit. You've got one piece, and I've trimmed it down to two, so they're more kind of like journal card size. I'm going to spread them out, and we're going to make a few of these right now. Actually, let's just work on four to start with, and this is what comes in the kit. This is the Brusho. I will actually show you, because included in the kit in the zine is the DIY, and I'll show you what I made for the DIY. And you can just see it a bit closer up. This is a watercolour pad, and I love just playing, to be honest. I really enjoy just getting the paints out and all that kind of thing. And here I was just experimenting with the stencil and the Brusho, and then I've added other paints. I've got a crayon on here, journal pen, and I like just playing with colours, playing with the stencil and all the different mediums. It's just a really fun thing to do. I could even cut them up and add them, but sometimes I like just playing and leaving them in my pad. If you are new to mixed media and using different types of mediums, it's a really fun way to experiment, see what works, see what you enjoy doing before you actually start on the main journal cards maybe. I'm going to start with the stencil that comes in the kit. I've got the watercolour paper, and we're going to use the Brusho. So this is very, very fine, and a little goes a very, very long way. I'm going to pour the tiniest amount into the lid. Oh, that's too much. You really, really do not need much. That's all I'm going to use right now for this technique. We're going to use the stencil. I'm going to use it, actually let's use it like that. I'll lift that up so you can see. We're going to have it slightly overlapping. I've got quite a stiff bristle brush for this. I'm going to damp the edge a little bit, and we're just going to take a tiny little bit of the Brusho, hold the stencil in place, and we're going to use like a stabbing effect. And I'm just going to go over. The important thing when using a stencil is to hold it in place. Otherwise, if you move it, you lose the whole stenciled look. And to add it darker, you can just dip in a little bit more. And like I said, with the Brusho, you really, really do not need much at all. If you haven't ordered this month's Lollipop Box Club kit, I will link up that below for you, as there are still some left. I didn't make the paintbrush very wet. It was quite dry. And let's lift that off. It's gone under very slightly, but I quite like that look. And I'm going to repeat that on another one. I've accidentally made the paintbrush a little bit too wet this time, so it may not work quite so well, but I'm going to continue anyway. I never get put off by when something doesn't go to plan, and I can already see that it's ran completely under the stencil, but that's fine. Things don't always go to plan, and as you can see, that one is very messy compared to this one. I just made it far too wet, but that's fine. Embrace it. And just enjoy it anyway, and something else will work out. So I've got those two, and I'm now going to try something different. I've got the brush already here, and I'm going to dip it back in, and I'm going to paint the Brusho over the watercolour, and that's going to be my background on the next two. It's very, very faint. Let's add a little bit more, and as you can see, this one's darker. And using it as a paint there on that one. We'll leave those to dry. I've got 4 more pieces of watercolour, and I'm going to do something else with these. I'm just going to do a painty background. Let's see, we've got pink and red. We've got, should we do some blues? Let's do some blues. Lots more water on this one. Ooh, that's mixed well. I had the pink in before. Let's just play. I have no plans. I'm going to have a little bit of blue. That looks nice, doesn't it? I do love blue. And we're going to do the same on these. And I'm going to use mine. I think I'm going to give them out as little like Happy Mail gifts. That's what I'm going to do with these. I am going to get the heat gun out in a minute. And I like moving my paintbrush in different directions, and you get kind of different effects and that. I'm going to dry these off. They're almost dry, but what I tend to do, I keep an old piece of kitchen roll in my desk drawer, and if you've got any, like I've got here, a little bit of a puddle that's going to take a bit longer to dry, I just blot it up with the kitchen towel. Make sure you blot and not smudge. There you go, you almost end up with like a different effect, which I quite like as well. So now I'm going to do something different. I've taken the yellow one, the one with the very, very pale, the Brusho yellow paper, and I'm going to add a border to that one. Let's add a hot pink. I've got a smaller brush, and I'm just going to do a border around the outside. Feeling a bit shaky today, actually. I've been struggling with a headache and I just feel really weak. So it's not a good day for tidy lines. Let's do this one. At the moment, these don't really appeal to me. They're not calling out to me. I'm not overly happy, but I'm going to keep going anyway, because sometimes I've found when, even if I'm not very happy with it at that time, I keep going, and then by the time you've added other bits and pieces, you end up creating something that you really like. So I'm just hoping that I'm happy with them at the end, but I'm not going to give up on them right now. They're certainly not pieces of art that I'm proud of right now. Let's pop those to one side, and I am going to add some more pink to these. That's another reason I like working on different things, because like now the other piece can be drying. Let's add some pink while I'm playing with this one. But yeah, don't worry if you're not too happy to start with. Quite often you end up with a piece that you really, really like. I'm now going to try something different, and I'm going to use the sun there on the stencil with an ink spray. And what I'm going to do, I do not want the line down there, so I'm going to cover it up, and that way you won't get a line. I'm using the Distress Stain here. I'll link up, I have got some of these in the online shop, and I'm giving it a tiny little blast. And that looks really cool, doesn't it? I'm really happy with that. I'm now going to create a frame on each of these. I'm just using a black uni ball pen, which is my favourite type of black journal pen, and I'm just making a very rough frame. When it comes to mixed media, you need to throw that perfectionist side of you out of the window, as it's really not about perfection at all. This metallic silver pen, actually no, let's go with the gold, and I am going to add some gold here in the frame. I've ended up making 2 in silver and 2 in gold. I think they look really, really nice. And I'm going to do something else now. I am going to take my scissors and I'm going to roughen up the edges a little bit. I think these ones are going to be my favourites actually. The other thing you can do is actually, rather than cutting up the cards, you could always tear them as well to give you a torn look. You're supposed to always obviously scrape away from your body. Try not to scrape towards your body, just so it's a bit safer. I'm now going to use this Jane Davenport mermaid marker, and I'm going to go around the outside of the frame on each of the frames. There we go. Talk about a boost of colour, aren't they amazing? I absolutely love those. Whilst the frames are drying, I'm taking this really old mist. It's a Maya mist, Cherry Metallic, one of my favourites, really, really old. And whoops, I'm going to do a few flicky bits on here to dry while I'm working on the yellow cards. Back onto these cards, the ones that I wasn't really fussed with, and let's add a border around these. Still not fussed with these. Okay, we'll leave those ones to dry. And one of my favourite mediums to use is this texture paste, which I will also link up below, and I'm just spreading it through the stencil now, which gives a really lovely textured effect. I've added a pink border to these yellow cards, and I've also added a blast of the yellow mist, and I've painted a little bit of yellow watercolour along the bottom and around the outside of the frame. These cards are now dry, and I am going to add some pink, some really bright pink with quite a bit of water to the top, and I'm going to let it run. There we go. Let's add some more water. And then once dabbed off, it will look a bit like that. I'm going to do the same on this other one. I'm going to take my black pen to these and just go around the outside of where the frame is. And I've done exactly the same with these. I do love a frame. I seem to add a frame to just about everything that I do. I'm now going to do a little bit of stamping. I've got this Ranger ink pad here and one of the older Lollipop stamps, which again I will link up. I'm just pressing that in, and I am going to add this all the way around the outside of the frame. I am just going to lean on this old bag And I'm just going to do this all the way around the outside. I love this fern stamp. And again, these journal cards are just a really good way to experiment with all different types of mediums. As you can see, we've done Brusho, we've used watercolors, texture paste. What else have we used? Obviously the stencils, now the stamp. That looks really cool. I'm really happy with that. Just so many different things, and it's just a really fun way to explore all the different things that you have in your stash. And also remember, one, it's only paper. If you don't like it, you can just start again. And two, there are no rights and wrongs. Everything you do is perfect. There we go. You can just do whatever you like. I can actually say I'm happier with these now. I've also added the little ferns there in the corner, and I'm starting to really like this one. I think I need to go darker around the frame. I'm going to add a watercolor pencil, I think. I've got this darker blue. Let's dip it in the water, and I'm going to colour in the frame here and see how that looks. Yeah, I'm officially starting to fall in love with these. They're definitely growing on me. Let's see if I can fall in love with these ones, because I'm not happy with these at the moment. I've gone for another older Lollipop stamp. This is a mini sunshine stamp. I'm dipping it into orange, and I am going to go all the way around the outside of this card. And let's see if I can fall in love with this one. I will also link up this stamp below for you. It's a really cute one. Something that I find when doing cards like this, or when creating mixed media tags, it's all about the layers. So never ever give up, just keep on going. Just add more layers, and like I said before, it's paper, so do not be afraid to practice, because if you don't like it, you can either paint over it, go over with something else, or start again. It's starting to work. I'm starting to feel a bit happier with these. I want to add a border, a bit of colour to the edge. I'm going to grab a small ink pad. I've just grabbed an old ink pad here. I'm going to go around on the edges. I think that finishes it off quite nicely, having the pink, the yellow, and then the pink again on the very edge. That looks better, doesn't it? I'm now going to use a couple of the die cuts. I've replaced my staples with blue, and let's have Hello Sunshine down here like that, and let's attach the sun to the center there of the sun stencil. And I'm going to use a couple of the stickers here from the Mrs Brimbles sticker sheet that also comes in the kit. Let's have Hello Sunshine, Rise and Shine, and Time to Reflect on that one. And on this one here, I've added the stickers. Back to the layers. I've got a really old stamp here, and I'm dipping that back in the blue, and that's just going on the outside there, just half of it. And I think I'm going to do exactly the same on here. I'm just going to add a little bit here to the borders, just a little bit of doodling all the way around the outside. I have officially fallen in love with these now. It's taken me quite a little while, but I do actually really like these ones now, and I liked it so much I've done the same on this one here. I'm now going to move back onto these ones, and I'm going to just simply write a quote like I did on the other ones on my board. If you need quotes, have a look online, go onto Pinterest. There's always a really good way to find quotes. Tidied that up a little bit. I've gone over the wording, and that's the first one, and I'm just going to add The quote is by Pooh Bear. There, I'm going to do the other ones as well. So I've got 4 of these cards, which I've just handwritten. I've taken a couple of quotes off of Pinterest, which makes it very easy. And I've just printed off some text onto just thin white card, which I'm going to cut down for these other ones. And I also just want to show you how quick and easy it is to write like this. You do not need a fancy handwriting to be able to do this. I will show you how easy it is. So I've stuck the wording on like that. I think actually that to me looks a little bit too white. I'm using the paintbrush that I had the Brusho on. That looks a little bit better. It just looked a bit too bright because nothing else on there was really, really white. Yeah, I feel a bit happier with that. So this one is finished, and I'm going to do exactly the same with this one as well. Okay, I'm really happy with these now. And I'm going to do exactly the same with this one. And this one here, I'm going to do the same, but I'm also going to show you how easy it is to do the font like I did the writing. So let's write the word shine. There we go. That's like a messy kind of font or writing. And I'm just going to keep going over. I'm going to keep repeating that. The other way you can do it is without all the joined up bits, but then as you keep going over, you then join it up. And all I'm going to do is keep going over so it gets thicker and thicker, and then I'm going to colour in. See where I've got the gaps? I'm going to colour those in. So I finished that off, and I've actually bought the edges off either side. And I'm going to stick this choose to strip above. There we go. And just like the others, I'm just going to go over in the yellow Brusho. And I have to say, considering I really didn't like these cards to start with, I'm really, really pleased with how they've turned out. It's always worth persevering. I now need to finish these ones. I'm doing the frame in the same way. I am going to ink the borders. I've got a raspberry pink here that I'm just going to go around the outside with. I'm also going to use the same stamp again. Did you see the recent mini book I made using this paper here, the watercolour paper? If you didn't, I will link it up below. I'm going to be using the paper here now. Just in case you didn't, this was the mini book that I created, and I used the hearts inside. But I've got some of the paper left over, and I think it will actually look really nice on here. So I'm just going to cut some out, some paper out, and I'm going to cut out hearts to use. Yeah, I'm going to do 4 of those. So I've stuck the hearts on. I'm going to go around the outside with a scribbled edge. I'm just going to add a blue staple. Actually, let's add 2 on each one. And I've decided to add a pink ray of sunshine in the corner of each bit there. So I'm placing it over the edge. I've got that raspberry pink ink pad, and I'm just pressing over the outside, just dabbing. And then you end up with that very subtle ray of sunshine, and I'm going to do that on each of them. I've decided the hearts looked a little bit too perfect, so I'm using that same wordy stamp. I'm really happy with how these have come out. I love that addition of the sun. Really, really love that quote, friends are the sunshine of life, because having a friend just makes such a difference to your day. It really, really brightens up your life. Again though, the white there is just a bit too white, so this time I've grabbed an old chalk set. I like that actually. And that's another 4 more journal cards made. I really hope you have enjoyed today's video. I have loved making these super cute journal cards. They are so sweet. I'm really happy with them. And like I said, please head over to Kerry's channel. Go and see what she has made. I cannot wait to watch her video because her sneaks looked amazing. And please don't forget to subscribe whilst you're over there. Leave Kerry a comment. Let her know that you've come from my channel. And please give me a thumbs up today if you have enjoyed this video. Like I said, persevere. Do not panic. It's only paper. Start again if you don't like it, but keep going because the layers just keep building up and they get better and better. I was really truthful when I said that I didn't like the cards how they were, but now I am just so happy with how they've turned out. And it's really therapeutic making this kind of thing. I really do enjoy making little mini pieces of art. Please give it a go. Please let me know if you do. And don't forget that we have a Lollipop Chat group. The link is below. You do not need a Lollipop kit to join. Anyone can join in. You can use whatever you want to and then show us what you've made because it's always lovely to see what other people are creating. Please do subscribe to my channel if you don't already. Thank you so much for watching today. I do have a, I'm going to be making my own creative journal from scratch very soon. So stay tuned, subscribe so you don't miss it. And I look forward to seeing you very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.